What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The giraffe trying to walk through villager action, spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as the Lord of the Gods, Zeus. His name is Matreiuss, the king of the gods, Zeus. His opponent today, the wielder of the hammer, the herding of the giraffe, and the builder of not mass dwarves. His name is TheRapl, and he is playing as Thor. It is the king of the gods versus the king of the gods. It is the lightning god versus the thunder god. It is the matchup you've been waiting to see. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the map Blue Lagoon. I love this map. This is always going to be my favorite map. I love the giraffe spawn. I love this giraffe spawn around about 10 to 20% more than I love a deer spawn. Reason is, it's just really, really nice. I don't know. I just really enjoy it. But we'll see how Rapple's going to go. I'm interested to see what the reason is here for the slightly variation, the slight variation in build, which Rapple's going for at the moment. Because he's clearly going for something a little bit different here. So we'll have to wait and see. But not going for all the gatherers does mean one thing. And what does that mean? It means his home gold mine's not going to expire super early. And that could be really, really good. And obviously, I'm a big fan of skipping this dwarven mine and going straight onto the gold mine. And it really, really is going to help. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we're just seeing Matreiuss. He's playing a very, very standard opening. One villager on wood, puts a couple of villagers over onto gold. He even takes some villagers off of that gold mine, it seems, to come back over onto these goats here and eat those underneath the town center, which is a little bit odd. He's looking for a very fast advance time, it looks like. There's lots of different ways to get a fast advance time in. The question is which one is the best way and which one's not, and how aggressive do you really want to go. Now, my current feeling in this matchup as the Greek player is you really don't need to punish this build order that the Zeus player is going for. I don't even know if you can punish this build order. I've tried going for I think you could probably do a forward temple with double Minotaur kind of opening as Zeus with both your heroes running across the map to cause a lot of havoc in the main base of the Greek player, of the Norse player. But even then, I'm not sure. Whoop, where are you going, giraffe? He is getting right up close. Man, Rapple. I love the efficiency. And he's going up through 4 with a 4-minute advance time. And only Hammer of the Gods. Only Hammer of the Gods here for the Rapple. This is very different. Is he going to get upgrades as he go? I don't even know. I like it. Innovation. This is an innovation on the meta. Right now, Norse players are just rote copying the build order and Rapple's out here innovating. I absolutely love it. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, it looks to me like Matreiuss is going for a town center here. Now, this is something that I've been told is impossible. You cannot go for a 5-second town center. It doesn't work. That's what I've been told. We'll have to wait and see. That being said, it might not be a 5-second town center. It could just be fast heroes. As the Centaur is now out, going to be looking for some damage. The villagers already moving up here onto this town center. A whole bunch of different ones. I like that there. Do I not have my scroll speed? That's okay. We're just gonna move around with the mouse. I mean the arrow keys. We're a changed man. We're not changing our settings anymore. We're going to be at 15 scroll speed no matter what, and 1 scroll speed with our arrow keys. As the villagers now on the town center, and here's the thing: as the Norse player, you've got no idea what's happening right now. You see this Berserk is scouting around for the Rapple. He's got no idea. He sees the gold mine. He could click on this gold mine and see 500 gold being grabbed and go, what does that mean? And that does actually mean town center. As we'll see how much Rapple is going to be paying attention there, because that's a little bit of a... I mean, this is a top player, so he probably knows about it, but it's a super high level concept to be trying to like figure out what your opponent's doing based on how many resources they have. Nonetheless, Centaur coming through here. We'll be able to chase that Berserk down, get some nice damage onto that one. And the Berserk very well might be able to get taken out. As the Herso do manage to snipe down that Toskapos over there. We've also got Demeter's Throne over here, which does reduce your storehouse's cost. It's actually a decent upgrade, but probably not that good for RAPL. Is RAPL going to grab his own town center here? He doesn't know there's a town center, but like he's got to be asking himself, well, there's nothing else here. Like, look at his perspective. He's like, there's nothing else here, so what else could he be doing? Now, obviously, with the gold being gone, he can make that guess. The fact is, he sees the temple, he sees the gold gone. He goes, okay, he's not making Minotaurs, so it has to be going somewhere. But 2 town centers is now up for Matreiuss, and RAPL going to be going for his own one as the Jason does pop through there, does see what's happening. And I love this. Just a healing spring. Just heals his dude back up to full HP. That Jason can get out of there. What a useless unit. Can't do anything. For those of you saying you can just read the score, sure, you can just read the score. But what happens if that ever leaves? What happens if you miss it? Maybe you miss it. What happens if your opponent does some sort of score manipulation stuff, which you can do? You're going to get yourself into some trouble. So it's always important to confirm your suspicions in one way, shape, or another. Oops. As the Berserk's going to be retreating back. Village is now out for the RAPL. And how's he going? He's now starting to get some armory upgrades through. Very, very late on those armory upgrades, but compared to everyone else. But he's well and truly safe and on the map and feeling like he's in a good spot here. Meanwhile, Wall's coming up. Matreiuss is such a defensive player in Retold. This is his style. He's so good at this style. There's not many other players out there playing like this. Just a hyper defensive Greek and just trying to improve his position little by little and take his time in this game. Whereas RAPL as well, it's like, no worries, I don't mind. But the fact of the matter is here, if Matreiuss just takes his time in this game, is it not the case that the Zeus army starts to win here? Is it not the case? I don't know. As we do see some Hippias coming through, going to get a little bit of damage done onto these villages as they're going to be retreating back into the town center. We do have the troll coming over here to push those Hippias back. And in the end, who actually comes out in front in this kind of a war? There is one thing here that I'm going to put it out there. There is a bit of a silly... I don't know if it's silly or if it's... I'm pretty sure it's intended, but I don't know if it's intended to be as strong as it currently is. If you get Burning Pitch applies itself to Throwing Axemen. And because Throwing Axemen are doing hack damage, and Burning Pitch affects all units the same, ranged soldiers get a bonus damage against buildings, the Burning Pitch is going to be making those Throwing Axemen absolutely ruin town centers, ruin buildings. So RAPL could go for this and go for a huge timing. Well, he could have gone for this, go for a huge timing on this town center, and instead of going for his own safe play, he could have gone for a one town center play all in to kind of punish Matreiuss because he's got siege weapons in the classical age. For those of you wondering, Skelly Boy Opal asks, was this not the case in Legacy? And it was not the case in Legacy. Burning Pitch only affected... I don't actually think it affected anything. It affected longboats. I think that's all it affected. It affected longboats and ballista, but it didn't give ballista bonus damage versus buildings. It just gave a small amount of pierce damage, I think. So, in a way, I'm happy that it does a little bit more for Norse, but I think it should be like... I think the throw in action should be a special case, like a bonus of like 0.5 or something, 1.5 against buildings rather than the full bonus, because it's obviously hack damage that it's dealing. So it's getting way too much. But then again, broken stuff is broken, and you just have to figure out how to play around it. If your opponent's going to make a whole bunch of throwing axemen, just make a whole bunch of Hippias, kill them off. And look at this for Matreiuss. He's just like, I'm going to wall up the entirety of the map. You're not going to be able to raid me. I'm going to be saying nighty-night to any sort of aggression. He's going through to the heroic age through Apollo at the moment, as we're seeing Skadi coming through. And is this the meta? Is this how Age mythology is played in 2024? We see a whole bunch of aggression on the ladder. We see a whole bunch of people trying to find easy wins against their opponents. But here, TheRapl, he hits the heroic gauge and he goes, I'm going to drop myself my Dwarven Gold Mine. I'm not even going out to a second gold mine. Walls up over here. I think TheRapl could be a little bit more aggressive with those walls. But obviously, I've got Omniscience, so I can tell that. As now, Matreiuss is fully walled in. He can come in with his own army over here and feel like he's going to be in a great position. As we do see those raiding cavalry coming up here. Going to hit this wall. And right away, Matreiuss can just get himself some prodromas here. And look at the repair speed. This is how, like, people are... I've seen people complaining about defensive structures. This is 4 raiding cavalry versus 2 villages. That wall is going up in HP. You don't think you can defend in Age Mythology? I'm sorry. Matreiuss says you can. There's just some tricks you got to be using. The raiding cavalry will be able to get out of here, though, as we see all the upgrades coming through. And both players just hanging out on 2 town centers. And we take a look at both of their perspectives. Neither player has got eyes on town centers at the moment. So either player could sneak up that 3rd town center and be completely fine with it. As we see a whole bunch of Manticore coming through here. TheRapl's going to be a little bit careful. He wants to get onto those elephants there. Not paying attention to those villagers as they kind of walk straight to their demise. We do see a hill fort coming up in the center of the map. As the army is going to be retreating back ever so slightly. Some Goaty are coming out to try and deal with those Manticores. There is a Frost available if he needs to, but he's going to be losing those villagers. This is a great raid here for Matreiuss. It's exactly what he's going to be wanting. There's one villager doesn't even survive there either. How are the armory upgrades looking here? Nearly all the important upgrades are through for Matreiuss, as Norse only really has hack damage with the exception of the Goaty and that Ballaster and the Troll. You don't really need to get those Pierce upgrades. As the army here for Matreiuss does get caught out. The Hersa are on top of those Manticore. Frost Giant hits that Manticore and surrounds the other one. And Matreiuss clicks Ceasefire to save a Manticore there. That's wild. That's absolutely insane. Meanwhile, up here, we will see a hill fort coming up. Now, it does take a little bit longer than normal to get your hill fort up when ceasefire is going down, but it will shoot up very, very quickly after the fact there. There's some houses coming down for TheRapl, and Matreiuss is going to be snaking through here to try and put a stop to this hill fort as TheRapl is trying to put pressure onto here. Great little maneuver here from Matreiuss, but the army just retreats back ever so slightly, and Matreiuss says, all right, I'm going to pull back, no worries. He's slowly spending his resources. Lots and lots of gold in the bank here. If you ever really want to get rid of this gold and fix this macro, one of the best ways to go about that is to just take these villages off of the gold and put them over onto a different resource for a minute or two. Then your gold will get spent pretty quickly. As the army does push through, denies the hill fort. Good little push there from TheRapl as the Frost Giant coming through there to take that Manticore out of the fight for a little bit here. The Hoplites will be taking a decent trade on the front here as those Toxotes on the back taking a lot of damage as well. But in all honesty right now, this game here is just coming down to a game of macro, and Matreiuss is not spending his resources. So many resources in the bank right now for Matreiuss, whereas TheRapl is spending his resources very, very well. So his raiding cavalry are going to come through, take out those Hippias on that position. More villagers getting taken down. Toxotes turning around to try and take out the heavy raiders over here as well. There's not really a whole lot of those throwing axemen at the moment. And Matreiuss here is going to be able to make a little bit of a push back as we do see those throwing axemen coming through onto this position. Still no burning pitch just yet from TheRapl to make any sort of crazy big fast push against those buildings work out. We do see double hill fort and a 3rd town center now coming up for TheRapl. Meanwhile, over on this position, Matreiuss still hasn't tried to wall off any more of the map as a Great Hawk coming through. Raiding cavalry are going to be sneaking in onto this position as well. As we see a fortress coming up over here in an attempt to grab the gold mine. Nice little raid on this position here from Matreiuss as the villagers have to garrison into the hill fort. There's not a lot left over here, as maybe TheRapl wants to go into the berry bushes, maybe he wants to go into farms. We'll have to wait and see. As the raiding cavalry is going to move down to the bottom side of the map and check this 3rd town center out. He's going to be very happy to see that nothing's coming out of there, as we do see Tyr is the god of choice here for TheRapl. So no crazy Ragnarok strategies here from TheRapl. Instead, just going to go for a very, very safe Tyr, which will get a significant amount of damage done onto Matreiuss. But Matreiuss here is going to be going to the Heroic Age himself. And by Heroic Age, I mean Mythic Age. And he is going to be going through Hera. And this is where we get to see Matreiuss's plan come to fruition. Can he hold against this tier? Can he get a really, really strong Mythic Age going? He's got Hera, which does unlock Argive Patronage. Using that with a whole bunch of fortresses is really, really strong. And I mean, we'll see how things are going to go as he's dropping another fortress down over here. And he can literally just keep dropping these and get that technology. He's got so much favor in the bank, but not really spending it on anything at the moment. 11 villages on favor is a lot. Most of the time, I would recommend like 3 to 4 villages on favor. And then once you've got full population, you can start thinking about putting some more onto favor to kind of get yourself all the things that you need. But any more than that is a little bit crazy. As tier is going to be coming through very, very shortly. It does take quite a while for that Mythic Age to come through. As the house going to get taken down over here. He could be going for double Lightning Storm. Town center up on this position. And Matreiuss gets his fortress up. So he's got another gold mine under his possession, in his possession right now. This watchtower's going to come through. The unit's going to come in to try and defend over here. I wouldn't mind seeing like a stable or two just to build a handful of Prodromus. Because if you get a couple of them out, you can actually chase those raiding cavalry down. It's a really, really nice defense against them. But rarely do I ever see the... He does have a stable, so he could make a couple of Prodromus. Rarely do I see that happening. It's the army now for TheRapl coming forward. And we do have that Fimbulwinter coming in. Wolves in the main base. Ceasefire gets dropped. This is why Matreiuss was on the favor, ladies and gentlemen. He's a thinker. I'm observing, and I didn't even think about the double ceasefire here. And that Fimbulwinter now is only going to get 4 seconds of damage. 4 seconds of damage. This is really smart from Matreiuss. He's playing around everything in a really, really good way here. But how much do you actually get with 4 seconds of damage is the big question. These villages do have their upgrade as well. That's some raiding cavalry going to be coming through. A couple of villages in the main base will end up getting taken down. Lightning Storm gets dropped down onto this position as the army will be retreating away. But how much of this army will actually get killed? Is the army going to be diving into the hill forts here? And now TheRapl is going to be under a lot of pressure. And we see that Argive Patronage is going to be coming through immediately. Lots of hoplites are getting queued up. And the army here for Matreiuss going to be pushing forward, trying to inflict a lot of damage. He will be able to use another ceasefire in a few minutes here as we see Frost getting dropped down and TheRapl buys himself a little bit extra time here. The big problem for Matreiuss is no third town center, and it's not like it matters a huge amount, but I think you got to be a little bit on top of your game to make that happen as we see another fortress coming down, and Matreiuss is just going to be spamming out the Argive Patronage MYRMIDON. And this is I'm excited. I've been wanting to see this tech utilized for so long. And we're finally going to see it. There are a lot of throw and axemen here. We still don't have that burning pitch technology through for TheRapl. He might just be being a little bit kind to Matreiuss and saying, I'm not going to get that one against you because it's busted. I don't know. What does the tech do? It makes MYRMIDON at all of your fortresses for free forever, but it takes 45 seconds to train them. It's absolutely insane. You get yourself up 10 fortresses, you're going to get 10 MYRMIDON every 45 seconds. As the Toxotes, great micro there from Matreiuss. Pops through the fortress, pops onto the back, trying to take out those throw and axemen, but the army population size here for TheRapl is still very, very strong. He's got himself 5,000 resources in the bank. Another fortress is now up. Still more Myrmidons coming through. You can still use these fortresses to build Myrmidon if you want. You can actually have the free Myrmidon coming through as well as buy those Myrmidon for a really, really good time. As those Frost Giants pushing through, TheRapl does have a ballaster up. I'd love to see him grab at this town center as well, but he obviously can't afford to do so just yet. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, we do have a Bellerophon going for some raids up here as well. Love that play as the village is trying to repair this one back up for the time being here. And it does look like Matreiuss is holding to some degree, but he's not. I'm not sure what he's spending his resource on. Now he's going to be getting himself that champion infantry upgrade, but it is a little bit like TheRapl is just overwhelming here And when you take a look at the score in a game of Age of Mythology, a lot of the time it does tell a pretty good tale about how the game's going. But when you hit the late game, these sorts of scores don't really matter. You don't have to care about it. As long as you've got a gold mine, you've got a trade route, you've got all your villages, you don't have to be concerned with score. But the problem here for Matreiuss is he needs units, and he needs units yesterday, as TheRapl is just face first pushing through this Zeus base with his bonkers strong army. He's got himself a decent upgrades there, to be honest. Matreiuss, on the other hand, doesn't really. He's missing that bronze mail for the time being. And on the top side of the map, we are seeing Matreiuss going for some raids up here. We see a little cheeky Heliopolis coming in here to help out and try and take down some of those champion throwing axemen on the back here. But they take down that so quickly. There's a whole bunch of units coming through for TheRapl, and it looks like to me the Argive Patronage, the defensive play from Matreiuss after all is said and done, is just not enough. As TheRapl just pushes through very cool, calm, collectedly with the champion units, the champion raiding cavalry, and makes Matreiuss pay here for the passive gameplay. Really, really solid play from TheRapl. I loved the idea with making the Argive Patronage, but you need an answer for these throwing axemen. And the answer for the throwing axemen might just need to be Hippias, in all honesty. Toxotes are good, but maybe Hippias would have been a better idea. Like, you see these Myrmidon, they're so strong, 16.2 divine damage per second. You don't need any armory upgrades to boost them. They're already just really strong. But they die really, really quickly to those throwing axemen. So you do need to be thinking about getting some sort of answer to that. Now, whether that be like a whole bunch of Medusa, or maybe the Bellerophon. But I think if we really look to it, I love the idea of getting up to 100 favor for a second ceasefire against that Fimbulwinter. Though, arguably, he probably shouldn't have clicked ceasefire in the first place. We didn't need to do this. But one thing here, and I think this is huge, is because he had so many villagers on the favor, that's 10 villagers there on favor, his opponent doesn't. And he's behind by 20 villagers at the moment. Let's just say he wasn't and he was at 100. That means he's at 90 villagers and his opponent is at 100. And in the end of the day, that means 600 resources at the bare minimum a minute that he's falling behind. And TheRapl is able to get himself upgrades on these units. Like, he's got himself all these bronze upgrades. He's got that champion upgrade as well. And he's got all the units out. He's at 260 population. And it's just really, really challenging to come back from there. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider to follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.